What if one prayer could completely change the direction of a person's life? Not because the words were magical, but because they came from a heart that completely trusted God. Throughout the Bible, we read about many incredible prayers. Moses prayed. David prayed. Elijah prayed. Jesus himself prayed. But today, we're going to look at one prayer that has inspired millions of believers for generations. And before this video ends, you may discover why this prayer still gives people hope today. Around 3,000 years ago, a young man named Solomon stood before God. He wasn't asking for wealth. He wasn't asking for power. He wasn't asking for a long life. Instead, God gave him an extraordinary opportunity. God said, "Ask for whatever you want me to give you." Imagine hearing those words. You could ask for anything: money, fame, victory over your enemies. But Solomon's answer surprised everyone. He prayed, "Lord, give your servant an understanding heart, so that I may lead your people with wisdom." Why didn't Solomon ask for riches? The answer changed the history of Israel forever. God was pleased with Solomon's request. Because Solomon didn't ask for riches. He didn't ask for a long life. He didn't ask for the death of his enemies. Instead, he asked for wisdom to serve others. God answered, "Because you have asked for wisdom instead of wealth or power, I will give you a wise and understanding heart unlike anyone before you or after you. And I will also give you what you did not ask for: riches, honor, and respect among kings." This teaches us something incredible. Sometimes, God gives us more than we ask, when our hearts are focused on His purpose instead of our own desires. But how could anyone know that Solomon had really received this wisdom? Soon, two women came before King Solomon. Both were carrying the same heartbreaking story. Each claimed that a baby boy belonged to her. There were no witnesses, no evidence, no way to prove who was telling the truth. The entire courtroom fell silent. Everyone waited to hear what the young king would do. Then Solomon made a shocking decision. He said, "Bring me a sword." The room froze. Why would a wise king ask for a sword? Instead of asking more questions? Solomon said, "Cut the child into 2 pieces. Give half to one woman, and half to the other." Immediately, one woman cried out, "No! Please, give the child to her. Just don't harm him." The other woman replied, "Neither of us should have him." At that moment, Solomon knew exactly who the real mother was. A mother's love would rather lose her child than watch him die. The entire nation was amazed. They realized that God's wisdom truly rested upon their king. But this story isn't really about Solomon. It's about every one of us. Every day, we make decisions. Some are small, others shape our future. We often pray, "God, please solve my problems." But what if, instead, we prayed, "God, give me wisdom to face my problems"? Because wisdom doesn't always remove the storm. Sometimes, it teaches us how to walk through it. Wealth can disappear. Success can fade. But wisdom stays with you, guiding every decision you make. And then, we see the same lesson again in the life of Jesus. Jesus often withdrew from the crowds to pray. Before choosing his disciples, he prayed. Before facing the cross, he prayed. Even in his darkest moment, Jesus didn't ask for an easier path. He prayed, "Father, not my will, but yours be done." That prayer reminds us, real strength isn't found in controlling everything. Real strength comes from trusting God, even when we don't understand his plan. So, what should we ask God for today? The Bible encourages us in James 1 verse 5. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault. Imagine how different our lives could become if every morning, before asking for money, before asking for success, before asking for comfort, we simply prayed, "Lord, give me wisdom today." That one prayer can change the way we speak, the way we work, the way we treat our family, and the choices we make every day. Maybe that's why Solomon's prayer has inspired believers for generations. Not because it promised instant riches, but because it teaches us to seek what truly lasts. If this message encouraged you today, write "Lord, give me wisdom" in the comments. And if you'd like to discover more powerful Bible stories and life-changing lessons, subscribe to Faith of Jesus. Until next time, may God's wisdom guide every step you take. God bless you.